A lot can change between now and next March, but the 2026 free agent class is already stacking up to be loaded with star power. It's not strong on quarterbacks, but there are plenty of difference makers at every other position. For this, we're only looking at guys who will likely enter the 2026 offseason without a contract and could realistically switch homes. Many of the current pending free agents of 2026 are sure to sign extensions, so there's no sense including them on this list. But with that out of the way, let us dive into our way too early predictions on where the top 2025 NFL free agents of 2026 will sign. Trey Hendrickson, Los Angeles Chargers. Khalil Mack is on a year-to-year basis at this phase of his career, and the Bolts still need edge rushing help after cutting Joey Bosa in a cap-saving move. Hendrickson is still in his prime with back-to-back seasons of 17.5 sacks. The Chargers need a true difference maker like Hendrickson to break through the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West. And a player of his caliber could be the final piece to help LA get over the top once and for all. Mike Evans, Buffalo Bills. Evans has spent his entire playing career in Tampa Bay, but with the Buccaneers window now closing, 2026 is a good time for him to leave and pursue a ring elsewhere. Josh Allen's Bills are still searching for a new #1 receiver following Stephon Diggs' departure. They can give Evans a short-term deal with a high salary and incentives. An offense with Allen, Evans, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, and Keon Coleman would surely be enough to help Buffalo finally topple Kansas City and get to the Super Bowl. Khalil Mack, Detroit Lions. We mentioned that Mack is taking it year by year now, but it's hard to envision him walking away when he still has so much to give. And with a Super Bowl ring being the last thing missing on his Hall of Fame career. If the Bolts don't go far in the playoffs, we could see a mutual split here, where Mack pursues a ring on another championship hopeful that needs extra edge rushers. Mack and Aiden Hutchinson would be a scary good tandem in the quest to finally win it all. George Pickens, Dallas Cowboys. The way too early guess here is that Pickens will flourish as Dallas's #2 receiver behind CeeDee Lamb. We also don't believe Jerry Jones would give up a third-rounder for Pickens if he only wanted him for 1 year. Hey, the franchise tag is always an option. But if Pickens comes as advertised, it'll only make sense for Jones to actually go all in by extending the star wideout for the remainder of his prime. Kyle Pitts, Tennessee Titans. The Titans will need to get more weapons for Cam Ward after his rookie year because a 32-year-old version of Calvin Ridley in 2026 is not going to be enough. Pitts has been a giant disappointment since his excellent 2021 rookie year, and it would be a stunner if he stayed in Atlanta beyond 2025. The Titans can bank on Pitts' skill set and offer him a lucrative long-term deal, with the no state tax factor working in their favor as well. Nick Bonito, Washington Commanders. The Denver Broncos would love to keep Bonito, but it's going to be tough reaching his asking price with so much money already tied up to Patrick Surtain II, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, and Talanoa Hufanga on defense. If Bonito proves his 2024 breakout year was no fluke, the star edge rusher could get $100 million plus on his next deal. The Commanders don't have any real game-changing pass rushers to help Darren Payne, and paying top dollar for Bonito would take care of their biggest roster weakness. Dallas Goedert, New England Patriots. The Patriots spent a ton of money on skill position guys to help out Mac Jones in 2021, and for Drake May this year. So what's stopping him from going crazy again in 2026, especially if May takes that next step forward? The Philadelphia Eagles nearly split with Goddard this year before the two sides agreed to a restructured deal. Hard to imagine Philly paying top dollar to retain him next year when he'll be a year older, so it opens the door for the Pats to swoop in and pick up the star tight end to elevate the passing game. Kenneth Walker III, New York Jets. Assuming Breece Hall doesn't cut it in his contract year, the Jets will be looking for a new starting running back in 2026. Walker had over 900 yards rushing in his first 2 seasons, but injuries wiped out a frustrating 2024 campaign. However, an expanded role in another offense could help Walker consistently rush for over 1,000 yards. Plus, he would fit nicely in a Jets offense led by dual-threat QB Justin Fields. Deron Bland, San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers lost plenty of big-name players this offseason, including all-pro safety Talanoa Hufanga and top cornerback Charvarius Ward. The 49ers couldn't do much this year because of a cap crunch, but money opens up in 2026 for GM John Lynch to make a splash. The cap-strapped Cowboys probably can't get into a bidding war with their other all-pro cornerback when so much money is going to Trayvon Diggs. The 49ers get one of the league's best ball hawkers to solidify their defense. Tyler Linderbaum, Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is still wondering what it's like to play in front of a half-decent offensive line. The 2026 free agent class isn't strong on interior linemen, so the Bengals might have to overpay for the Baltimore Ravens standout. But adding the former 2022 first-round pick to bolster the O-line would be a very nice start. And signing him away from a division rival makes this a double whammy. Shaquill Woolen, Los Angeles Rams. Woolen was lights out in his 2022 rookie year for the Seahawks, but the one-time Pro Bowler has inexplicably regressed over the last 2 years. At this rate, a fresh start feels inevitable. Sean McVay's Rams are loaded in the trenches, but they're still lacking a capable shutdown corner who can consistently win his matchups with the opposition's top receiver. A one-year prove-it deal makes sense for Woolen, who could regain that elite form in the Rams' ultra-aggressive defense. Barrett Tucker, Houston Texans. After the departures of Laramie Tunsil and Shaq Mason, the Texans' offensive line figures to be one of the league's worst units in 2025. Perhaps GM Nick Caserio is quietly planning to spend lavishly in free agency next year. Barrett Tucker is one of the league's best all-around guards, earning PFF pass blocking and run blocking grades of over 75 last year. Barrett Tucker has been one of the few bright spots on a lousy New York Jets squad, so this win-win scenario allows him to chase the money and play for a contender in H-Town. Najee Harris, New Orleans Saints. Harris surprisingly settled on a cheap one-year deal from the Chargers despite 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Play well under Jim Harbaugh for 1 year though, and Harris should turn into a shiny long-term deal for next year. Alvin Kamara is not getting any younger, and the Saints will likely draft a new starting quarterback next year. They can take some pressure off the new kid by running out a Kamara-Harris rushing duo. And if Kamara declines next year, well, the Saints will have a reliable replacement in Harris. He'd be in good hands with Kellen Moore as his head coach. You know, seeing how much the rookie head coach got out of Saquon Barkley last year. Boye Mafe, Miami Dolphins. Seattle's 2022 second-round pick has asserted himself as one of the league's most complete edge rushers, racking up 15 sacks over the last 2 years. Mafe's 77.8 run defense grade at Pro Football Focus was also 11th among edge defenders last year. The Dolphins have one young stud edge rusher in Chop Robinson, but veteran stalwart Bradley Chubb has had problems staying healthy. Adding Mafe would greatly bolster Miami's front seven, giving them another weapon to combat the likes of Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson in the AFC. Odafe Oweh, Cincinnati Bengals. If the Bengals end up losing Hendrickson in free agency, why not target a familiar face as a replacement? Baltimore's 2021 first-round pick is coming off a career year that saw him record 10 sacks. The Ravens have a lot of money tied up on both sides of the ball, so they probably won't bother entering a bidding war for Oweh. This would be the perfect opportunity for the Bengals to jump in and sign him to a long-term deal, giving Shamar Stewart a new running mate in the trenches. Jimmy Ward, Houston Texans. The former San Francisco 49ers star has been everything the Texans could have asked for since snagging him in 2023 free agency. He'll be 35 next year, but Ward has not showed any signs of slowing down whatsoever. As a do-it-all safety who boasts strong coverage and excellent run D, Houston has no reason to let him go. So expect a short-term extension to keep Jimmy W in Houston. Romeo Doubs, Pittsburgh Steelers. No matter who's under center for Pittsburgh next year, they still have to bolster the wide receiver depth around DK Metcalf. Regardless of Aaron Rodgers' decision, why not target his ex-Packer teammate? Despite a limited role in Green Bay, Doubs has exceeded the 40-catch and 600-yard marks in consecutive years. He would easily step in as Pittsburgh's number 2 receiver behind Metcalf and could emerge as a multi-time 1,000-yard weapon. Breece Hall, Dallas Cowboys. If Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders don't cut it in Dallas, Jerry Jones will have plenty of options to find an upgrade in free agency. Hall hasn't hit his full ceiling with the Jets, but consecutive seasons with over 1,300 yards is no joke. He would step in as the RB1 behind Dallas's stacked defensive line, and as one of the league's best pass-catching backs, would be a must-have in fantasy football. If Hall can put up rock-solid numbers with a terrible Jets team, just imagine what he could do in Dallas's high-powered offense. Luke Kadie, Cleveland Browns. The Browns O-line isn't the strength that it once was, and fresh blood will be needed with Joel Bitonio, Jack Conklin, and Wyatt Teller all on the wrong side of 30. Gadecki earned PFF grades of over 75 in both pass and run blocking for the Bucs last season. Similar production in 2025 will make him an ideal target for the Browns, who must rebuild the O-line in front of their next starting QB. Jacoby Meyers, New York Giants. The Giants have one rising superstar at wide receiver in in Malik Neighbors. But more is needed if Jackson Dart is to hit his ceiling in the Meadowlands. Meyers has eclipsed 800 yards in receiving in 4 straight years despite lackluster quarterback play, including a career-high 1,027 last season. With a mountain of cap space, the G-Men should not be afraid to overpay for Meyers either. Neighbors, Meyers, and Tyrone Tracy Jr. as your main weapons? Oh yeah, now Jackson will be ready to throw some darts. Bobby Wagner, Detroit Lions. Wagner is also on a year-to-year basis at this phase of his career, but the future Hall of Famer has not shown any signs of slowing down. He already has 1 Super Bowl ring, but Wagner will surely want to play for a contender in what might be his final NFL season. Wagner would be a valuable addition as a do-it-all linebacker and locker room leader who could help the Lions get over the hump in the crowded NFC. Deebo Samuel, Baltimore Ravens. Samuel's coming off a frustrating final season with the 49ers, culminating in a trade to the Washington Commanders for a late-round pick. We're excited to see what Samuel can do in an offense with Jaden Daniels, but we are obsessed with the idea of him going to the Ravens. As a do-it-all gadget player, Samuel would add another element to a Ravens offense led by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Suddenly, an offense with those 3, Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely, and Zay Flowers, looks like the best in the AFC. Mark Andrews, Kansas City Chiefs. Alright, let's get a little bold here, because we're guessing 2025 will be the final season of Travis Kelce's career. And if that's the case, well, KC's going to be scrambling for a new tight end to fill that void. When healthy, the 3-time Pro Bowler is a safe bet for 50-plus catches and over 700 yards a season. He'd be the ideal short-term replacement for Kelce. And Andrews should be motivated to sign with a Super Bowl contender if the Ravens fall short again in 2025. But hey, which other top free agents of 2026 should we have included on our list? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.